Marco, real quick, would you speak to the issue of is it okay to allow an LGBTQ member in the worship team or the youth officers kind of lead team?
I sure say yes. I realize in a lot of these practical questions, the first and best answer is you and your church need to discern what the Holy Spirit is calling you to do, because there's not a one size fits all answers to these questions. But all of our kids, on whether they're a leader or not, they're all wrestling with lots of questions. Some of those questions and doubts and uh, hurtful things and everything else, some of those are uh, about gender and sexuality. And I don't think that that should be a disqualifying. If a kid wants to continue to be involved in like worship leadership or something like that, why would we remove that? Now, I realize there might be people listening who would say, but they're living in sin. And if there was a known ongoing sin by somebody, then they should not be in leadership. And I understand that perspective. In fact, I would have held that for many, many years myself. But I would suggest to you a couple things. First of all, it's fluid for teenagers, man. These are very different questions when we're talking about a 45-year-old, right? It is fluid for teenagers. And for many of them, we just don't know where they're going to end up, right? So to alienate them or box them out, it seems to be the barrier rather than the bridge. The other thing I would say is that um, there's a separate practice from um, questions or leaning, right? Even if you're in a conservative church, I mean, John Wooding asked this question in the questions earlier. Why is the church making this the one hill to die on? If a teenage boy says I'm sleeping with my girlfriend, we say you should stop doing that. And if a teenage boy says I'm attracted to guys, then we might say you don't belong here anymore. Right? Mm-hmm. Let's apply the same rules across the board. If you've got a kid who's asking questions about their gender or their sexuality, then no matter what your theology is, I think you should be able to still have them involved in every way.